Hi everybody. How are you this evening? I'm going to wait just a second so you guys can come on live. While I'm waiting, I'm shuffling my cards here. I thought we'd pull a card to get started. I'm going to give you a little insight into some language for manifesting, because I'm going to be talking a lot about manifesting this year, I think, because there are a lot of things that I want, and a lot of things that everybody that I know wants things. So the more we can know about how to attract and create and become the things that we want, the better. The better for all of us. Teaching it, learning it, all of that stuff. So to get started, I've got my little deck of cards here. They're not little, they're big. And I just want to pull a card let's just feel out the energy for now, for tonight. So let's see. All right, this is the card that wants to come out. So tonight's card, Shock of the New. And it's like she's got flowers on this side. She's got speakers and music and all kinds of activity and stuff going over here. Shock of the new. It's like it's the new year. So we're all kind of settling into our place. We're figuring out what's going on. We are, deciding what it is we want this year. What are the goals? What are the resolutions, which I think are silly, but what do you want for this year? And what's interesting is, January 1st is only a day after 2016, right? So it's really the same timeline continuum, just the next day. But a new year feels like a new start. Hey, Shell, how are you? And so, Shock of the New. Shell, I just pulled a card just to start this for fun, because it's what I love to do. And the card is Shock of the New. So I was just talking about how it's interesting that a new year is just a day after the whole last year, but it feels like a whole brand new start. And so we're all just kind of settling and adjusting and figuring out what it is we want for this year, and, taking stock of what happened last year, and, what do we want to adjust from that? What do we want to keep going? All of that kind of stuff. So let's talk about, before I do that, I think you have some sort of a follow button available to you. So I'm going to be doing these Facebook Lives once a week, and I have a lot of stuff that I want to share. So if you want to know when I'm going to be going live, you can hit the follow me button, and I think you'll be notified. Like if you're on Facebook and I go live, you'll be notified. So that'd be awesome. And if you want to share this with anybody that you know, please feel free to share. I would love that. And let's see how this goes. We'll do this once a week and see what happens. And I think it's going to be fun. This is way better than sitting down at my computer and typing a blog post. It's awesome. I love it. So let's talk about some manifesting language. That's what I really want to talk about. And I had an interesting experience one time. I used the words I wish and I want a lot. And in my opinion, there is nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to explain what I mean about that in a minute. But I had a friend one time who I was talking about. I have a course called Moon Wishing, and it comes out in March. And I was talking about the course and, said the name of it. And my friend said, "Are you really making wishes, Jen?" Kind of with that, like, "Are you really? That's not really good." And I said, "Yeah, I am, actually." And I said, really, I'm probably setting intentions, but I have no problem using the words I want, or I wish, or making wishes, or setting wishes, because all of that is based in desire. And desire is the seed of creation. So if you think about it, there are, two ways that I came up with that things are created. One is by desire. So you have the desire for something, and when the desire is strong in you, that pulls you toward a solution, toward creating something, changing something, whatever the case may be, manifesting something, attracting something. When your desire energy is strong, that pulls you, okay? The other way is by accident. So things get created by accident, right? Inventions happen, all sorts of stuff gets created by accident. But is it really an accident? Because when let's say you discover something new, it could be, a new thought or idea, a new insight, it could be, a new planet, I don't know, whatever. But when you create or discover something by accident, if there is already a desire that's attached to that, you're going to go, oh, that's a great idea, that's an awesome thing, that's amazing, I'm going to pursue this more. If there's no desire there and you accidentally discover or create something, you aren't going to put any attention to it or care about it. You're going to discard it and go on to the next thing that your desire is leading you to. So desire is important. And I have one other example of where desire is important. So, Spirit is all about expansion. Spirit wants us to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be, right? So that's all desire-based. Spirit desires us to expand and be the best that we can be. And, Spirit gave us the ability as humans, and, well, animals too, I guess, and even plants for that matter. But anyway, gave us the ability to reproduce. Like, that's the ultimate creation, right? If two people come together and you reproduce and you create another human, that's like a big deal. But at the core of that, of, the ability to reproduce by having sex is desire. Like, desire has to be there in order for it to work, right? On one or another part, like the basics, okay? So desire is something that is totally innate in us. It's totally a part of our genetics and who we are. There is nothing wrong with desire. So I want you to know that. When you want to manifest something, when you want to create, attract, be, do, have, whatever it is, if you want to change something, desire is going to drive you, and it's important. So that's why I am okay with saying I want and I wish. Totally fine. So if you wish for something, if you want for something, when there's desire behind it and it's pulling you forward and it's driving you to that thing that you want, it's a good thing, in my opinion. Now, for some people, saying I want or I wish, like my friend who said, Jen, are you really wishing for something? For if you've heard many times that using I wish and I want are not good and you feel uncomfortable with that, then saying you set your intention is a totally fine option. You can do that and mean the same thing, okay? So there are some variety in language that you can use to manifest. That's totally fine. And it's really all about what you're comfortable with and in what way you're saying it. And I'm going to explain that in a second. But it's what you're comfortable with. So when you are using language to create something, to manifest something, whatever that is, feel into your body and see how it feels. Do you feel expanded when you say it, or do you feel contracted? If you feel expanded, if you feel good, if it feels like the right language, then say it. Absolutely say it, and say it with all of your heart. If you feel contracted, if it doesn't feel good, choose different words for it. That's all. It's not a big deal. And you can, in the meantime, then, kind of explore and be curious about the words that didn't feel good, even if you know that they should be okay. Like if you don't feel good saying I wish, you can kind of explore that and say, well, what makes me feel funny about that? Well, because I've heard so many times that you shouldn't say that, it's not the right thing, it's not going to work. Feel into that and see what you feel about it, okay? So, those are things you can say. Now, there's a difference in saying something and the energy that you put behind it. So there's a time when saying I wish and I want is not good. And that is, if you are saying I wish or I want, and it is because a desire is ignited in you, then it's something that is good and healthy for your spirit to pursue. But if you're saying it in a whining sort of way, I wish I had this, because you're implying that you wish you did but you really don't. I want XYZ and I'm never going to get it. If you say it in that way, where there's another part of the sentence that says, I want it, I desire it, but I'm never going to get it, but I can't have it, but I don't deserve it, but I can't afford it. When you're using it in that way, then you've changed it. It's not a healthy way to say things anymore. And you're not going to attract what you want, because the energy that you have is behind the lack of what you have. And it's the energy that you're feeling. You are pushing it toward the thing that you don't anymore want, but that's where you're sending your energy. So 2 things then to watch out for. And one is the words you use. The second is the energy that you put behind it. Okay? The third thing is the thoughts that you think in your head. So if you say the words out loud, I want, I wish, I intend, and you have desire behind them, and you have meaning there, and it's a positive, language, vocabulary, grammar, whatever you want to call that. But then in your head, you're thinking, but I really don't deserve that, and I don't think I could ever accomplish that, or I'm really not worthy of that, or everybody thinks that I could never do that. If you've got the thoughts going on in your head behind that are counter to your positive words, you're kind of going to be in a standstill, because you're saying I want, and this language is good, and then you're thinking, but I can't have that. So be really careful of your thoughts, okay? Your words, your energy behind the words, your thoughts, okay? Those are all important when you want to manifest something. And when I say manifest, I mean if you want to be something, have something, do something, create something, attract something, change something, any of that. And it can be, manifesting is about all sorts of things. It can be, an energetic thing that you want to attract. You want to attract a relationship. You want to attract, you want to become happier, whatever the energy is. You want to be freer, whatever that is. Or it can be something physical. You want a new car. It all works. Manifesting is about all of that. If you want to change a behavior or change a habit, if you want to heal something, that's all can fall under the umbrella of manifesting, okay? So think about that and see how you use your language and how you put the energy behind what it is that you want to create, okay? So here are some things that are going to negate your manifesting ability. So some things you shouldn't say. And I hesitate to say shouldn't say, because the shoulds are a big problem. Like, people are telling us all the time what we should and shouldn't do. So I'm going to rephrase that to be a little bit more politically correct, I guess. So I'm going to teach you some things that may hamper your manifesting ability. Things that can make it more challenging, okay? It's hard to reform sentences without saying should and shouldn't. That's just it. So the first thing is manifesting for somebody else. So if you are trying to be, do, have, create, attract something for someone else, if you want someone else to have something, that doesn't really work, because you don't know what they're saying or thinking. You might know sometimes. But it's their energy, their thoughts, their words that create their reality. So you don't really have power over them in that way. Like, the universe is responding to them. So for you to say, I want so-and-so to have or create or attract this thing, there's no power in that. You have domain, you have power over your own thoughts and your own energy and your own creation. So stick to manifesting for yourself. Now, always, if you have the opportunity and the other person's open to it, teach the other person how to manifest, how to change their thoughts, how to attract what they want. Of course, always share what you know. Always, leave people with the impression of increase from knowing you or from being around you, always. But you can't do it for them. So the universe doesn't respond to that in that way. There is, of course, and I feel like it's responsible to mention this, but there is, of course, group consciousness that, let's say, can send healing towards somebody. So when somebody starts a prayer chain or a healing circle or, something like that, where you ask a whole bunch of people to pray or send energy or send light or any of that kind of stuff to someone, that can have an effect on them. But, the fact is that they want that also. And if they don't, then it doesn't work in a permanent sort of way, right? Like we've seen that happen many times. So that was just a side note. But the point is to manifest for yourself, desire for yourself, wish for yourself, and help others do the same thing for themselves. So don't try to do it on their behalf, okay? The other one is, I just kind of touched on this, is trying to manifest a should. I should do this. I should want this. I should become this, right? Other people want this for me. I want their approval. Like, don't get into the manifesting shoulds. Because, one of the problems is you can manifest it. Like what you set your thoughts on and your language on, the words that you say, you're going to bring that into your reality. And if it's a should and it's not a feel good thing, it's a because you want it to, it's going to not have the positive effect on you that you wanted it to. When you manifest a should, you are adding an energetic burden to yourself. So be really, really careful and evaluate what it is that you think you want versus what you should be creating or attracting. Okay? So, manifesting for someone else, stay away from that. Teach them instead. And manifesting a should. Be really careful. Be careful what you ask for because you will get it. Okay? And the third thing is wishing in the negative. So this is really common. I see this a lot with my new students who are new to manifesting and working with the universe and with energy in this kind of way, is that they don't want something anymore. So it's not that they're wishing that something bad would happen, but the language they use is the negative form of, whatever it is they want. So I don't want any more junk mail. Universe, I am overloaded with junk mail. I don't want any more. So that's using the word don't in there. That's the negative. But the subject of that is junk mail. And you're putting your energy on it. You're focusing on it. So what's the universe going to do? Oh, junk mail, great. Yes, more of that, please. Or another example is saying you want less of something. I really want less bills. I really want less bills. I don't want these bills to show up in the mail. That's another way of using the negative form of language to express what you don't want. And what you're going to end up with is more of what you don't want. Okay, so rephrase those things. When you find yourself saying, I don't want this, I want less of that, rephrase that into what you do want. I want an emptier mailbox, right? That would be an opposite of I want less junk mail. I don't want any junk mail. I don't want bills. I want, more money, right? Easy one. I want more abundance. I want more, prosperity. So then it's easier to pay the bills as they come in. And easier not to rack up debt, right? So ask for what you do want Don't ask for what you don't want. Because when you ask for what you don't want, you put your energy toward it anyway, and you end up getting more of it. Same thing with relationships, with jobs, with, where you live, with your house, with anything, with any sort of trouble that you have experienced. Maybe your car breaks down a lot. I don't want my car to break down anymore. So instead of wishing for that, I want a reliable car. Okay? So, those are your tips for today. So let me just summarize those for you. So using the words I wish and I want are totally fine as long as you're using them in a way that desire is behind them and it's pulling you forward. So if you're using them in a whining sort of way, you're negating the wish, first of all. I wish I had this, but I don't. That is really focusing on lack energy, so you don't want to do that. You can use setting an intention as your language that you choose. That's totally fine. And you can use it to mean the same thing as wanting or wishing for something. It's perfectly fine. Desire is a good thing. So desire is the seed of creation. You're welcome, Shell. Glad to do it. Desire is the seed of creation, though. So don't be afraid to want things. Don't be afraid to desire them. That's awesome. Do that. And the more you feel your desire, by the way, like let yourself feel it in your body so that you can really live in that energy. Because the more you put that energy out of what you desire, the stronger it is to magnetize that to come back to you. Okay? So keep your language and your thoughts positive. If you have a negative experience, a bad day, something bad happens, you sleep late and you're late for work, whatever it is, deal with the negative feelings and the negative thoughts. It's fine. We all have them. We're human. But then counter that with positive. Like once you deal with that and once you experience it, once you notice that you're thinking negative things, you're having a bad day, counter that. What's gone right? What went right yesterday? What do you know is going to go right tomorrow? What positive thoughts can you have? What positive words can you say that are going to counter that negative experience? Okay, so really, it's really important to have positive thoughts and words all day, every day, as much as you can without ignoring your problems. Okay? And then what not to do, don't try to manifest for somebody else. Don't try to manifest a should, because the should is what somebody else wants for you, and it's not what you want. If it's something you want, you're going to have desire behind it, and that's a good thing. And then don't wish in the negative. So don't wish for, less of something or that you don't want something. Reframe it to the positive form of the language. Okay? Those are your manifesting language tips for today. And I just want to let you know that I have a new little planner that I'm creating. It's called The Beginner's Guide to Manifesting with the Moon. I like working with the moon. It's a really nice feminine energy. It's the natural cycle of things. We live in cycles all day, every day. And so it's harmonizing yourself with the cycle. It's a great little planner. It has a calendar with the primary moon dates on it, the Mercury retrograde, solstice and equinox, the eclipses, so all of the important celestial and earthly cycle dates on it in a really easy to view planner. It's got a worksheet that comes with it so that you can work through a cycle and you can work on aligning with the cycle so that your energy flows easier. So that'll be done within the next 2 or 3 days. So just want to let you know that's coming, and if you want it, you can comment in the video here, you can send me a message, whatever, and I'll send you the link to it as soon as it's ready. Okay, I'll be publishing that soon, very soon. So thanks for joining me. Thank you for the heart. I appreciate that. And I hope you enjoyed this, and come see me. Don't forget to follow me if you want to know when I'm on next. I'll be here next Monday, and I'll also be doing some kind of random card readings again. So thanks, Jill. I'll send you the link when it's ready. And if you want to know when I'm here doing card readings, I'm going to start doing some of those live on Facebook, and I'll let you know. Okay? So follow me, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.